Hello and welcome to the Commander's Quarters, your Magic the Gathering source that helps you command your budget. This show and episodes like this one are possible thanks to viewers like you. If you're looking for an easy way to help support this show, make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. Also, hit that bell notification icon so you don't miss any new episodes. You can also go check out our playmats and other merchandise at thecommandersquarters.com. Another easy way to support this show is with our TCG player affiliate links. So whether you're buying a deck or individual cards, you can use this general link right here or one in the description. And the final way that you can support this show is by supporting us directly by becoming a patron. There are many benefits to being a patron, and I truly couldn't do this without all their support. There's even a brand new Brigadier General tier where you can get a shout out on a Commander's Quarters episode that's dedicated to you. Hey everyone, Mitch coming in for the Commander's Quarters studio. Welcome to the show. What a day it has been. Welcome back to yet another quick take today on day 3 or 5 or whatever we're calling it of spoiler season for Innistrad Crimson Vow. This morning started off with a bang and the hits just kept getting better. We saw Necro Duality, a brand new staple for zombies, and yeah, usually I don't just go and call something a staple, but come on, once you see this card, it is definitely a staple in zombie tribal decks. We also saw not a staple at all, but a card that might be my very favorite card that we've seen so far from this set with Horrifying Dollhouse, and yeah, I know the exact deck that I want this card in the second that it comes out, and hopefully it's going to be budget, and I think it will be. But today we've also seen, my goodness, yes, yet another broken green mythic, because you know what? Green gets all the good things. So, yeah, if you haven't seen my episode on Cultivator Colossus, make sure you check that one out. But this episode's actually on a card that was spoiled yesterday, and yeah, I actually decided to take this weekend off from spoiler season because even I need a break too at some points. But I'm back working now, so that's why I'm talking about Toxrill, the corrosive and absolutely disgusting powerful commander. Get the thumbnail now? You see? Because it's disgusting, but then I include the last part of the word, which is Lee. Powerful. Clever, right? Not clever at all? No? Okay. Well, anyways, let's jump into it. So Toxrill, the Corrosive, again a fantastic name for a slug commander, is a 7/7 slug horror that costs 5 black. It has, at the beginning of each end step, put a slime counter on each creature you don't control. Creatures you don't control get -1/-1 for each slime counter on them. Whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, create a 1/1 black slug creature token. And by paying blue-black, sacrifice a slug to draw a card. Yeah, like I said in the thumbnail, and I'm sure the description and the title of this episode, this is a disgustingly powerful commander. And it is definitely the kind of commander that your opponents are going to fear. And actually, when I originally saw this card, I read through it twice just to make sure I was understanding it, because that first part says at the beginning of each end step. Each, not your, each. And that obviously is a huge difference. Again, in a multiplayer format like Commander, that's going to be 4 end steps in each trip around the table. So yeah, that's 4 slime counters on every single creature you don't control. Basically just being -4/-4 to all those creatures. So yeah, your opponent's creatures are either going to get really tiny, really fast, or get taken out in absolutely no time. And you know what? Eventually, it's gonna be both. I mean, even if your opponents deal with Toxrill the Corrosive, those slime counters are gonna stay on your opponent's creatures. Then you know what? You just get Toxrill back in play, and bada bing, bada boom, your opponent's creatures are smaller again. I don't know why I said bada bing, bada boom. No one says that anymore. I've been up for a long time today. Regardless. Yeah, and then again, on top of that, whenever a creature you don't control with a slime counter on it dies, you get a slug, which again you can sacrifice for card draw. So this commander can demolish your opponent's boards while giving you a massive board presence and card advantage on top of that. So yeah, there's a reason this commander costs 7 mana, and again, your opponents are probably going to try to take it out pretty quickly because this can get out of hand in no time. But yeah, let's talk about some cards that work very well with this commander, and yeah, what kind of a deck you might want to build around it. And the first card that came to my mind was actually a new one from the previous Innistrad set with Sludge Monster, and yeah, I'm sure they designed these two in particular to work together. Sludge Monster is a 5/5 that has, when it enters the battlefield or attacks, put a slime counter on up to one other target creature. Non-horror creatures with slime counters on them lose all abilities and have base power and toughness 2/2. Yeah, this is literally the only other card in Magic that puts slime counters on creatures. And of course, it works in an incredibly synergistic way. Again, with Sludge Monster, when your opponents have slime counters on them, which again, your commander is going to be able to put slime counters on all of your opponent's creatures at each end step, they become 2/2s that lose all abilities. And again, for each slime counter on them, they get -1/-1. So yeah, once your commander puts that second slime counter on them, they're gone. And then you get a ton of little slugs and everyone has fun. Well, except for your opponents, who just lost all their creatures and gave you a ton of slugs that you can sacrifice for cards. Yeah, Toxrill is disgustingly powerful. So yeah, I hate to crown a golden pig before ever building a deck around this commander, but Sludge Monster, that works pretty perfectly with Toxrill. Regardless, of course, there are other cards out there that can work really well with those slime counters as well. And those cards would be ones that let you proliferate with cards like Tezzeret's Gambit, Karn's Bastion, and Flux Channeler. Tezzeret's Gambit's going to have you draw 2 cards, then proliferate, so basically you can choose any number of permanents and/or players and give each another counter of each kind already there. So basically, add 1 slime counter to all your opponent's creatures and make them even smaller, and probably takes them out too in the process. Of course, there are repeatable proliferate effects as well, like Karn's Bastion, that is a fantastic land for these kinds of decks. It can tap for a color, so you can pay 4 and tap to proliferate. But even better is a card like Flux Channeler, which says whenever you cast a non-creature spell, proliferate. So you can get an absurd number of slime counters on your opponent's creatures in no time at all, which again is already a very quick process because it's on each end step, but you're just expediting that process just a little bit. Regardless, yeah, like I've said many times in this episode, this is a disgustingly powerful commander and one that has a very high converted mana cost. So your opponents are probably going to be trying to take this thing out and basically make it so that their creatures can stick around even if they've got slime counters on them. If they deal with your commander, those creatures are at least back to their normal selves until you get your commander out again. But yeah, they're going to be working to try to take out your commander pretty quickly. So if you've got a deck built around Toxrill, you really need to make sure that you are protecting your investment because again, Toxrill is a 7 mana commander, and keeping Toxrill in play obviously is going to work very well for you and not so well for your opponents. So cards like Swiftfoot Boots and Gift of Doom of course can come in very handy with this commander. Swiftfoot Boots gives Hexproof and haste, you know what, it's still a 7/7, so that's not too bad, you know, but the Hexproof is what you really care about. And then Gift of Doom says enchanted creature has Death Touch and Indestructible, and you can actually just morph this, you know, to surprisingly give your commander Death Touch and Indestructible. Again, you're probably going to have a lot of slugs just lying around, so yeah, all you have to do is sacrifice another creature to morph this and put it on your commander. And of course, since you've got access to blue, make sure you've got plenty of counter spells to ensure that you can, well, counter any kind of target removal, or wraths, or, you know, actually protect your commander when you're recasting it, because, yeah, you're going to have a target on your back, or, yeah, your commander is definitely going to have a target that's placed on your back because of all the things it can do. But of course, we can have other effects that can benefit from what our commander does as well. So you also might want to consider cards like Ogre Slumlord, Great Betrayal, and Black Market. Ogre Slumlord says whenever another non-token creature dies, you may create a 1/1 Black Rat creature token, and rats you control have Death Touch. Again, our commander is an expert at taking out our opponent's creatures over time, and yeah, the more creatures we take out, we get more slugs, and now we also get more rats. And we can actually, you know, just get our opponent's creatures themselves with something like Great Betrayal. It says, whenever a creature you don't control dies, return to the battlefield under your control with an additional ++1 counter on it at the beginning of the next end step. That creature is also a black zombie and issues other colors and types. So yeah, why not just get our opponent's creatures on top of also getting a slug? And of course, our opponents are so generous with their things that they're also going to give us a ton of mana with Black Market. It says, whenever a creature dies, put a charge counter on Black Market at the beginning of your pre-combat made phase, add black free charge counter on Black Market. This can actually be a fantastic card to really help us recast our commander if we really need to. Or it can help us save some mana for some other things. Like, you know, cards like Psionic Resonator and Lithiform Engine. Psionic Resonator has pay 2 and tap it, copy target triggered ability you control, you may choose some targets for the copy. And Lithiform Engine does a lot of things, but yeah, its first thing is pay 2, tap, copy target, activated or triggered ability you control, you may choose some targets for the copy. So, basically the exact same thing, but plus activated. but we're not worrying about that right now. Because, yeah, again, if we want to speed up that process of getting more and more slime counters on our opponent's creatures, well, we can do that by doubling up that triggered ability. Or, you know, if you want to get really disgusting, of course there's always Spark Double, which is one of the most disgusting cards probably ever printed. Basically, this is a clone that decides that it's not legendary for whatever reason, so yeah, have fun doubling up on your commander for even more slime counters and even more slugs, and yes, this is getting gross. So yeah, there's a reason why I call this a disgustingly powerful commander, and there's also a reason that if you play this commander, you very well might have a target on your back. Regardless, now that I've talked about cards that work very well with this commander, let's talk about some commanders that might want Toxrill in the 99 of their decks. First up, how about Spark Double the Commander, Sakashima of 1,000 Faces? Basically, it's a clone that also comes with the legend rule doesn't apply to permanents you control. So again, you can basically copy legendary creatures like, you know, Toxrill. Of course, Sakashima is also a partner commander, and yes, you would need to have black in your color identity of the other partner commander, but yeah, you've got plenty of options. Next up, how about Sephrys of the Hidden Ways? She has whenever one or more creature cards are put in your graveyard from anywhere, venture into the dungeon, this ability triggers only once each turn. She also has Create Undead. Whenever you complete a dungeon, return target creature cards from your graveyard to the battlefield. So, though Toxrill does have a pretty high converted mana cost at 7, yeah, we can just utilize this commander to reanimate it and get it into play. And yeah, that slug army is going to be incredibly useful for our commander's trigger, especially since we can sacrifice them whenever we want to. And yeah, that can really help us complete more dungeons to reanimate more things and have fun. But yeah, I think Toxrill is more so the kind of legendary creature that's going to be at the head of a commander deck and not so much in the 99. I mean, I'm sure there are going to be some decks that do want the 99, but there's probably going to be a lot more people out there that are more interested in actually building a full deck around this card. So if you're one of the opponents of a Toxrill deck, make sure you get your salt ready, not just because you're probably going to be a little salty when all your creatures get taken out from all the slime counters, but also because aren't slugs like, they don't like salt, right? So yeah. Okay, that was bad. Leave me alone. I've been up for too long. I mean, I literally said bada bing, bada boom earlier. I think, right? I need another coffee. And with that, the show has come to a close, so it's my turn to hear from you. So make sure you comment below and let me know what your thoughts on this episode are. And as always, thanks again and have a good one.